have a man change his desires when the woman comes into his life, even if she becomes a focus? Absolutely not. Fellas, do not change your desires. One, as Humble Dad said, you're supposed to have a plan already in place anyway. You're supposed to already have the vision. You've been had the vision. Now you got the plan and you're executing it. Your woman is supposed to come in and join you to make your plan that you already had before you met her come to life faster, as Humble Dad said. So I don't agree with that at all. Men should not change their desires. They should stay on focus, stick with their purpose, and make it happen. And if they got a good woman to help them get there faster, fantastic. But with or without her, stay on track. Listen, I like Iman Shumpert. I like what he says. I like his message. I've worked with his wife. But I am with Humble Dad and Clout. I don't agree with what Sir Hill is saying. So the thing is, there's three things.
Hey, Shane, you freezing up, brother. Hold on, Shane. Can you hear me?
He's good on my end.
He good on our end. Yeah, he good for me.
All right, this must be me. Go ahead, Shane. My bad.
All right, so there's three things that's discussed here, and he kind of like conflated some of it. So one, he says, the desire thing. Women want men. I agree with that. We talk about it all the time. Women want men that other women want, period. Women want men that other women want. The validation that Sir Hale talked about is spot on. That's absolute. But that question is not what's going across the marquee at the bottom of the screen. The question that's going across the marquee at the bottom of the screen is men should explore life and do what they desire. Well, that's two things. Men should explore life. Yes. Do what they desire. See, if we follow our desires and our wants, that's how we get fucking caught up. Men should do what's necessary, especially as young as possible. I did what I desired in my 20s, and I hate that I did that because I missed out on so many opportunities doing what made me feel good, doing what was fun, partying. I joined the Army at 19. I was out by 24 of active duty, came back home and street racing. I was building cars and going to college and smashing chicks. I was having fun. That's what I desired at the time. I didn't have any guidance at the time to tell me to do what I needed to do. So if men follow their desires, they can get caught up oftentimes, and that's how they turn themselves into baby daddies. So you have to be careful with that. But I do want you to explore life. Exploring life and getting experience and getting cultured and traveling. Yes, get the hell out of your city. I know so many people that will not. I'm in here in LA, and some dudes have never been to the beach. It's weird because I could jog to the beach. I could jog to the Pacific Ocean from the inner city. There's some guys that just never been there. Gentlemen, explore life. When they talk about the passport bros, get a passport just to travel. Even if you don't want to go out there to find a wife and find a life, go explore and get out of your city. It's super important. I want men to explore life. I don't necessarily want them to follow their desires because they might get caught up in the part that I do not agree with. Absolutely is when a woman comes into that man's life. That's when he changes his desires and perceptions. No, hell no. You're supposed to have that already established. In fact, Iman, he was drafted in 2011. He married Tiana in 2016, but he didn't retire till 2021. He continued he knew what he was doing. He didn't change his desires when a woman came into his life. I'm not even counting the dating part. I don't know how long he dated her before he married her in 16, but he was in the league for 5 years, and he did another 5 years after that, and that didn't change for him. So I'm not sure. See, sometimes when you get married, you start saying stuff because your woman right there, and it sounds good, feels good. It keeps harmonious, domestic harmony at home. Ain't nobody fighting in the car on the way home and shit. You're gonna get some pussy tonight. Sometimes I hear. And it's just what I experienced, that sometimes married men tend to say certain things that I don't think they'd say if their wife wasn't standing right there. To have a man change his desires when the woman comes into his life, even if she becomes a focus, absolutely not. Fellas, do not change your desires. One, as Humble Dad said, you're supposed to have a plan already in place anyway. You're supposed to already have the vision. You've been had the vision. Now you got the plan and you're executing it. Your woman is supposed to come in and join you to make your plan that you already had before you met her come to life faster, as Humble Dad said. So I don't agree with that at all. Men should not change their desires. They should stay on focus, stick with their purpose, and make it happen. And if they got a good woman to help them get there faster, fantastic. But with or without her, stay on track.
All right. Brother Luis, what are your thoughts, sir?
Man, that was an interesting take. I really do resonate with Sir Hale, but what Shane said towards the end made me kind of change my mind a little bit. But this is the reason why. And I think that this might have been overlooked. Unfortunately, at the bottom it says, until a woman comes into a man's life and changes his desires and perceptions. I think that's speaking more volumes about his desires and perceptions for relationships or marriage. I don't think it's changing his entire direction and trajectory of his life. If he already has a plan in motion, a goal, and certain things, what he's looking for that out of that partner is for her to add value to his life. Not take away, but rather add. And sort of when I reread that again and I look back at the interview, I'm thinking about change his desires about relationships. Because if not, why would he already be single? You know what I'm saying? Why would we be out here? If he's already doing it, you know what I'm saying? I think it's more pursuit of that. And as far as the desire aspect, I don't know. I think I have a little bit of pushback on you, Shane. I think certain men need to burn their desires, certain desires, and not allow their desires to burn them. We all remember the time when we all had the fly car with the fly rims, you know what I'm saying, decked out or whatever. That's what you wanted at that moment. You got that out of your system. You burned that desire. And now you don't have it. You don't even know where that car is today. It's probably sitting in some garage. It's probably sitting in some car garage or chop shop somewhere, right? Like you wanted that chain and you got a rope chain when you were like 22 years old. You didn't know, but it was like the cool thing to have. You just had to have it. And you went out of your way. You saved your money. You had it. Some time went by. It went away. Desires are going to come and go. But as far as your plan, your vision, you know what I'm saying, that will never change. But I think momentarily desires are always going to burn up. And you have to burn them, you know what I'm saying, and get out of those tendencies because you don't want to carry those tendencies into a situation like a long-term relationship or marriage because those bad habits and those bad tendencies are what's going to end up burning you. So, burn your desires. Don't allow your desires to burn you. How you?
All right. Go ahead, Big Clout. What are your thoughts, sir?
I think I gave my thoughts.
Clout went already.
Okay.
He answered.
Okay. All right. I thought
Eric, I want to hear what Eric has to say.
Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, question time. How many of you guys sold your wild oats when you was young and burned your desires? Hands up. Show of hands.
I don't know.
They didn't burn away from me, Eric. They still raging like a fire.
That's the trick.
Because I just really want to take it to a real place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's nice that we're really kind of, talking all this, and it's beautiful that all the, eloquent things that you brothers are saying. But let's just be real, man. The percentage of men that are going to do that and exercise their desires and do what they do, whether they're black, white, Chinese, or whatever. Look, let me tell y'all something, man. In this generation now that we're speaking to now, the younger generation, let's be real. Shan, you already know. You in Cali, so you seeing it all. Man, it's tough out here. So do I agree with it in a sense? I do. I do agree with young men being able to do that. This is why. Because most times I have seen men take those desires into their marriage, thinking that because men tend to get to a certain age and think that by this age, I'm supposed to be married. at this age, I'm supposed to have my house. At this age, I'm supposed to have the 2.5 kids, the car, the picket fence, and all this stuff. But they have not dealt with all the other stuff. Now, maybe if you have those desires, you can deal with them in another way, whether it's therapy and all this stuff. I don't know. But what I'm seeing is if you have not exercised that out of your system and you did nothing about it, it's coming into your marriage most times, man. So you got to deal with it some way, somehow. So whether you exercise it by, kicking it or getting some help or getting some wise guys like us on this stage or whatever, like a lot of what he said is true and is happening. And I believe that he did speak from experience. And I think most men do speak from their experience, whether right, wrong, or indifferent.
Brother Eric, the delegation wants you to clarify what you mean by get help. What kind of help are we talking about here?
Well, number one, go talk to somebody that's actually doing it, or that may actually be, that may have actually done this somewhere. But then I'm asking, like, Sir Hale, I'm gonna use you for an example. How many uncles did you have that did that?
So they saw there were also they didn't. I want to be clear on the question. Are you asking how many uncles sold their wild oats or how many didn't do that?
Either did do it.
I hope none of my family watching. All my uncles hoes. so.
But you understand? But y'all feel me, man? Like we're saying this narrative, but man, is that a real narrative? Y'all get what I'm saying? Now we could try to change the narrative tonight, but I'm just saying.